Take a picture?
All right, I'm nervous.
No problem, no problem.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty nervous, but I speak in public a lot, and I realize I'm most comfortable speaking to audiences of Jews and psychiatrists. And with Mark Slutsky, we got both, of course. So, the problem here is that because I do comedy, people have high expectations for this speech. Last week at Ramis-Creativity, a woman of this congregation said to me, "Well, you won't be as funny as Aaron Freeman." And I thought, oh boy, probably not. But I do comedy for a living. Today, I'm paying you. And so you're going to get what you pay for. And it's hard to know when to laugh in Joel, isn't it? You know, so don't feel obligated. If it's really funny, you'll laugh. If it's not, I'll be okay. This is the first time I've spoken to a congregation since my bar mitzvah in 1957. And this is the tallis I got from the rabbi at Kesser Mara in Rogers Park. You notice I said tallis and not talit. That's why I learned it from Rabbi Lustig and B'nai Reuben, and I'm sticking with it. By the way, if you don't know, Kesser Mara was on Greenview and Devon, and I've been by there recently, and the building is now used as an S&M leather museum. It's the truth. When I was asked to speak about creativity in Judaism, I didn't really know where to start, but I woke up at 4:30 in the morning on Thursday with an inspired thought. The Torah starts with the creation, and so should I. So let's look at that. In 6 days, God creates everything, but you have to wonder, had God done it before? Had He already created another universe and planets with living beings? Did He have a vision, a plan, a blueprint? Were there other failed attempts, or was He making it up as He went along? From the text, it sounds like a first-time deal. But in any case, it struck me that the biblical creation is a model for all human creativity. To take material elements, light and dark, solid and liquid, organic and inorganic matter, form, line, and color, and to mold them and shape them into something incredibly complex, meaningful, and delightful to the Creator. And apparently God was pretty delighted. The Torah tells us, God saw all that He had made, and behold, it was very good. So with all that done, God creates the first man, gives him total dominion over all living things, and He gives Adam a job. You remember what Adam's job was? Out of the ground, the Lord God formed every animal in the field and every bird of the air, and brought them to the man to see what He would call them. And whatever the man called every living creature, that was its name. So this was Adam's first purely creative task, naming everything. To me, that means the beginning of language. It means giving symbolic names to things in the real world, which makes all communication possible. And it's a vital cognitive process, too, this naming of things, and perhaps a vital moral process as well. It's part of what writers do. We give names to things to help us define ourselves and our world. There's a concept called the rectification of names. It's one of the themes taught by Kung Fu Tzu, who we call Confucius. He was a Chinese thinker and social philosopher who lived about 500 years BCE, and deeply influenced thought and life in Asia. To rectify names means to know one's role in the web of relationships that create community and behave accordingly so as to ensure social harmony. Confucius believed that social disorder often stems from failure to perceive, understand, and deal with reality. Fundamentally, then, social disorder can stem from the failure to call things by their proper names. Just listen to most of our politicians and the difficulty they have calling things by their real names. Death tribunals, collateral damage, ethnic cleansing, extraordinary rendition. You could confuse a stupid person. To Today we study it as semiotics and semantics, and a good ironic example is that by calling Kung Fu Tzu Confucius, we inadvertently devalue Asian culture and turn an important Chinese philosopher into a joke on a fortune cookie. But Adam isn't really best known for his creative naming of things. His real claim to fame is eating the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It's most often thought of as original sin, but in fact, it can actually be seen as a creative act. He does the one thing he's told not to do, and that is the first creative act of every child, saying no to the parent, in Adam's case, God. No, I won't go to sleep. No, I won't get in the car. No, I won't use the potty. Yes, it's transgressive, and it's certainly inconvenient for us, but it's the child's first attempt to affect his world, to create change and establish his own independent reality and identity. It's the child's assertion of the self, of his right to express himself, despite and even against the wishes of the parents. And that's what every serious artist does. He questions the assumptions of his family, his society, his culture, his government, and even the formal strictures and traditions of the art form itself. Adam and Eve eating the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was a transgressive act, but an inherently creative one that introduces them to existential reality. God basically says, from here on out, you're on your own. You'll work hard for your bread, you'll have complicated and difficult relationships with your children, and you'll be painfully aware of your inevitable death. And that's the beginning of existentialism. Whether we abandon God or God abandons us, it's the same result. We now have to take full responsibility and start thinking for ourselves.